On September 8th, 2025, police discovered human remains in the trunk of a car. These remains were later identified as a teenage girl who had been missing for nearly a year and a half. The car belongs to David, an indie musician whose work had reached over 30 million monthly listeners and amassed close to 250 million with a B views on YouTube with some of his tracks. What made this discovery so shocking was the unsettling way that it shifted David's body of work, as his lyrics and his actions were now combed through to reveal a web of foreshadowing that can only be described as insane. Just how did David avoid notoriety while becoming one of the scene's most popular new artists? Let's find out this week in this episode of Red Thread. All right, welcome to Red Thread. Jordan, you join us as always, as well as Kira. Kira, this was meant to be your document this week, but I took over because you had to do some soul syrup work throughout the week. Yeah, this was going. You suggested this one, right, Kira?
Yes, I did, because it kept popping up on my social media, all the things about it and the updates and what was coming out, and I thought it was pretty crazy.
It's extremely fresh news, as in only within the last month has it really hit the mainstream in terms of news, but there has been bubblings and inklings of discussions across message boards and social media accounts throughout the last, 2 years roughly about different aspects of the case that we're going to dive into today. Jordan, I assume you are completely blind on this one.
Nah, barely know what the genre rap is. Very unfamiliar with murder. Don't know much about that in general.
Are you trying to cover for yourself right now?
That's quite sick. That remains to be seen. And I would like to get the subject off me as quickly as possible.
Yep, good. It definitely has made me uncomfortable now thinking that I am doing a podcast series about true crime with potentially a criminal himself.
And how did this one get caught? Yeah.
How best to avoid it in the future. It does come after last week's episode on Chris Chan Part 2, where you did halfway through the episode admit to having chronic nightmares where you're trying to get rid of murder evidence or something like that.
Did anyone back me up in the comments?
No, everyone's like, what the fuck?
Screw everyone. All of you. Not one of you backed me. So neither of you have ever had that dream where you're trying to hide a body, ever.
Okay, well, I have, but you said chronic. You say it's a frequent occurrence.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's the different part.
All the time.
That's the different aspect of this. I have very weird dreams. Like, Kira can back me up on that one. I have extremely weird dreams. But, like, that dream where, like, I've done something wrong or I'm trying to hide evidence is like once, maybe every 2 years. Like that hardly ever happens. You've got a guilty conscience, my friend.
Totally. You can't deny it. I have a lot of sin to hide, clearly.
You hear that?
Don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that I'm
there.
such a sociopath that I'm sitting there. Like, I just think like, oh yeah, you can kill a prostitute every now and then. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that's how my brain is. I don't know.
I'm pleased to announce the first Red Thread bounty. Any armchair investigators out there that want to dig deep and try to find something incriminating about Jordan, reach out to me and provide your evidence, and it'll be a future Red Thread episode by the sounds of it.
Counter offer. Whatever Jackson's offering, I will double it.
To bury that evidence.
Keep me in the dark. Yes. You find any evidence, you tell me about it. I'll make you an offer.
All right, so you don't know anything about this week's episode. We're getting all the laughs and jokes out of the way because, as you know, it's a true crime episode, especially about a recent thing. So it's going to be a very serious topic, an episode about something very disturbing and sad, which is always just not great fun. So we're going to get into it. Chapter 1, The Strange Road to Success. David Anthony Burke, known professionally as David, that's spelled D4vd because everything's got to be extremely cool
Very
these
cool.
days. He was born on March 28th, 2005 in Queens, New York. That's one of the parts of New York I've heard of, actually. That's pretty cool. I feel like I'm in the know.
Damn, Jackson. Queens. Yeah, you know these streets, don't you?
I do. I was raised by these streets.
No wonder you knew about this story.
I think that's where Spider-Man lives, if I recall correctly. He
do you recall correctly? I don't fucking know if you do.
Does he, or is Brooklyn maybe? I don't know.
No, I have no idea.
He spent most of his childhood out in Houston, Texas. Fun fact, I also know that part of Texas. I flew into Houston.
Go, Jackson.
Damn, I'm getting all these references, dude. This is sick. Where next? It's going to be like Albuquerque or something. That's going to be one too many for me. I'll be out by then. As soon as
David
we start
lives
getting
in
into
America.
Weeds.
You've also heard of that place. So we can already chalk it down to a 3-win.
I hope he goes to Honolulu. Growing up, his parents were a seemingly strong family unit, very involved in their local church, and his father held a respectable and prominent position as a project manager for a global firm that housed over 1,500 attorneys. Now, that's a lot of attorneys.
That is a lot of attorneys.
That's a scary amount of attorneys.
Army of attorneys.
Yeah, you could fight wars with that level of attorney.
Look, I'm already guessing why this guy got away with it. God damn.
He had the best defense possible. His dad had 1,500 attorneys at his disposal. This is Nintendo levels of attorneys right now.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit overkill.
At the age of 13, his parents decided to take him out of the typical school system to be homeschooled. That's never a good sign, usually.
No, it is not.
He has talked about this in many interviews, how for the first few years of homeschooling, it was, quote, hell for him. He used to be constantly surrounded by people, friends, and always had so many fun things to do. And it was a big switch to then being at home for hours upon hours by himself on his computer, just learning by himself and by playing games frequently. Now, as a self-help aficionado, a man who really enjoys self-development, Jordan, is that a good thing, being isolated for hours on end and your only vice being video games?
Well, I'd say, meditation is always a practice best kept to yourself. And obviously, meditation is helped greatly by playing violent graphic video games instead of being silent.
Oh my God.
I think that he was onto a win here. I really can't see where there is any warning signs so far.
Are you one of those boomers who actually believes that violent video games cause violence?
Yes. No. I'm not one of those boomers, but I do think that video games waste your life and winners don't do video games. As in, I think that, obviously moderation in all forms, but there is that type of need that we've all met before, let's say.
Yeah, it is funny, but it's not applicable in this situation since David would go on to be way more successful than we will ever be, perhaps. I think that's a fair way of putting it.
I blame the army of lawyers. Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Come on, he's a Nepo baby. Straight already. Is it surely? Yeah, we had to do it the hard way from the streets that Jackson is well aware of.
It says right here that he didn't have any friends while he was being homeschooled, but he had 1,500 attorneys.
That's better than I'll take the 1,500 attorneys. I would.
That's a useful friend.
So useful.
He says that he had to learn to be alone and become my own person. There you go. There's that meditative element.
Yep.
But if it wasn't for this change, he would arguably not have found the success he ultimately gained. He loved to game, with Fortnite being his favorite. He would post montages and videos of him playing onto a small yet relatively successful YouTube channel. But he began to encounter a problem, similarly to others in the space. Yeah, you and I know about this one. His use of popular music in his montages meant that he kept getting copyright infringements, and he was unable to continue getting money from his videos. Dude, what is he using these lawyers for?
The struggle is real.
He's got lawyers. Come on. You're in a way better position than we would ever be when being hit by copyright infringements.
He's got
you can send out your own.
And to quote The Simpsons, urge to kill rising. It is infuriating getting a copyright.
No, especially from some random ass holding company over a clip from something from... I get copyright infringements all the time on one of our other series, Criminally Stupid, from clips from 25 years ago on public broadcast television clips.
No, they need that. Yeah, they're definitely putting that on the Today Show, aren't they?
And it's so our content is so transformative as well. It's like short clips being used through commentary, basically, not just reaction commentary. It's stupid. The whole copyright infringement stuff in America is laughable. David
It is
on
bullshit.
gaming says, quote, I've been gaming since I was really young. I always had consoles around and I was always looking for outlets to escape reality as a child. I never wanted to read a book or do anything extracurricular. And my mum always hated it because she thought video games would rot my brain, when really I feel like that's where my love of narrative and storytelling comes from. I played so many games that showed me the progression of all of these complex characters. So it's always been part of my life. And you know what? I'm gonna hop on my, my soapbox here as a gamer myself. I feel, there's some animosity coming from Jordan's side of the aisle right now, but I will extend them olive branch.
As is in the ghetto of the online ghetto. Shots fired. This is our Crips and Bloods disagreement. Frankly, it's a miracle that we're even rapping. We are the Snoop Dogg and whoever the Blood was of the internet world.
Yeah, but anyway, so video games are actually harmful. We know that pretty extensively, but they're only harmful in the way of any drug is harmful. When you're addicted to something and it overtakes your entire life and you can't pull yourself away from it, and you sacrifice other developmental paths that someone should be going down throughout their life, like books, as he just said, and other, important life elements. When it's just video games for 18 hours a day, then obviously you are going to sacrifice something in the process and you start to live the life of an addict. Video games, when in the way that he kind of presents it here as an inspiration, it is just an art form at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you're taking positive elements from it in a healthy way, of course, video games can be highly inspirational and good for you. But yeah, you often see people overuse video games, let's say. I don't know how else to put it, really. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, really, when I say that, people always get extremely triggered about it. But I think that this is a really non-controversial point, in that exactly what Jackson is describing. We have all met that type of NEET before. And it is because they are a meth head for Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say. Pretty much exactly what you said.
Succinct. Straight to the point. I like it.
To sum it up. Yeah.
Can you be, so I'm trying to think, would you be as behaviorally, lacking, let's say, if you were to instead read a book for 18 hours straight, or become an addict for books or movies? Or is it just that video games have more addictive tendencies to them?
No, you definitely would become a better person, I think, if you spent 18 hours a day reading. You'd be nerdy, but I think that you would have so much knowledge about the world that it'd have to come to some form of good.
Yeah, depends.
Provided you're not reading endlessly Babysitter's Club, but you're reading a lot of books. So I'll give you can read the entire series and still get on it.
I was going to say, I think I'd be a bit more uncomfortable with someone reading 18 hours of Dr. Seuss each day than I would.
That is kind of scary.
Yeah, that is a scary vibe. I still think that you're sacrificing.
Okay, what about
something.
this though? Goosebumps. Now that's cool.
Damn, that is cool. That means you're very brave and strong.
Kira, I bet you read a lot of Goosebumps, hey?
No, I didn't.
Too scary for you?
Got freaked out.
Too scary for me.
What did you read growing up then?
What did I read? I read a lot of the Harry Potter series.
Yeah. But did you do it multiple times, or one was enough for you?
Oh, no, I read it multiple times. And I still have my original copies from 2001.
Yeah.
I was in that really golden era of middle school and high school when there was the Hunger Games, Harry Potter and all that. So I read all those constantly.
Yeah. And see, she's never killed anyone. So that's kind of proving our point. If she was addicted instead to Command and Conquer or Call of Duty for that length of time, guaranteed she'd be on a kill streak of her own in real life right now. It'd be dangerous. I'd be scared.
Yeah,
but no,
it'd be a
because
matter of time. Because she spent her time reading Harry Potter.
You said it was the golden age back then, Kira. What's the golden age now? Is it literally just smut books?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Damn, that's cool. I guess that's a different it's a different vice in of itself.
God, I want to do a Red Thread episode about that. I can't make it escape my head, and no one is game enough to read it. I would love maybe just a Kira's Reviews side bonus podcast where you remember the one that is about minotaurs getting milked.
Yeah, I sent that to you, didn't I? That's the one I sent
Yeah.
to everyone when I wanted an example of this phenomenon.
And it's what an example.
It's a fantastic example.
I'm
What's
too
even
scared.
more funny, so for people out there, this is a bit of a tangent, but there's a fantasy book, like one of those romance / smut TikTok books, whatever you want to call them, based around the idea that the female protagonist works at a milking farm for minotaurs. Which
What's it called?
milking is I'll put it this way: the minotaurs don't have boobs. They're not lactating. It's a different kind of milking. So yeah, so it's about that. And what's even more funny is just reading the reviews on it of just all these people being like, "This is so hot." It's just so ironic. Yeah, no, you should read the comments. That's
See,
the
we
more
need our
entertaining
own
aspect.
personal review. I need somebody that I know to read it. One of you guys has to do it. I really
Yeah.
want to be a part
Not
of
me.
that, and I want to break down the literary genius that is this borderline bestiality book.
I don't think it's borderline. Like, I think that's
Straight there. It's over. It's over.
yeah, it's over, but it's like acceptably over. Like you read the comments and it's all just like affirmations of, "Oh my god, this is so hot. It feels so wrong to like this, but I love it." Hey, at least it's good for your bone strength or whatever, like milk is apparently, I guess. Anyway, back to the story. Frustrated and inspired by artists he liked, such as XXX Tentacion, and with a nudge from his mother, he decided to have a go at making music himself. David knew nothing about creating music initially, and he began to learn the skill from Google and YouTube. He used a program called BandLab and his sister's walk-in closet to begin to try and create music. Finally, he created his first song titled Runaway, released in December 2021 when David was around the age of 16, which he promoted in the Fortnite community as a song that creators could use without getting copyright strikes on their videos. Which is a nice thing to do. Credit where credit's due.
Yes.
It's a good... I always like those like royalty-free tracks that people release because a lot of them sound good and they are just a really nice band-aid solution to stop your videos from getting fucking mercilessly struck.
Oh, as
really
a
nice.
YouTuber, I approve.
Yeah, very nice.
As far as I'm concerned, he's already done some of his community service.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at some of the lyrics from the song. Quote, "I got issues, but that you wouldn't know. So many times that I've tried not to show them. Please don't run away from me." So Runaway features lyrics talking about loneliness and a need for connection. David has a lot of common themes throughout his music, including wanting personal and intimate connections, who doesn't, his uncontrollable anger and persistent jealousy, which is all things like they're juvenile emotion. Like obviously poorly developed adults also have these emotions, but you know, when you're going through puberty, when you're like going through your teenage years and stuff, where these feelings feel way more impactful and you don't necessarily have the tools to control them than the uncontrollable anger and persistent jealousy. Yeah, I can see why those were things that he would use in his artistic expression. The next song he released, You and I, features similar longing lyrics, and here they are. "I dream about you and I, but why do I even try? When you're running away and I'm trying to stay, times are changing and my time you're wasting while you're here. You're never near me, you act like you fear me, now it's clear." Another song he released at the beginning of 2022 named Bleed Out features the lyrics, "I look into your eyes and I can see right through your lies. It's a terrible disguise. I think we both know who dies here." So yeah, I mean, some of his songs are already taking on a more sinister lyricism. The next one released in March called It's That Time Again. The lyrics go, "It's that time again, the voices in my head, they won't go away, and I know what you said, but I don't think you cared about me anyway, so don't be so pretentious. I don't think you want to know my real intentions. You're the one that's holding me back from my blessings. I don't think you learned your lesson." I feel
All
like
right, well,
I feel
up
like a
until that
boomer
moment-
dissecting these lyrics, but like it really does speak to someone who is a bit troubled.
That last lyric really disturbed me. The rest of it before that, I thought, what a whiny little bitch. But now,
What
now-
disturbed you about the last lyric?
I mean, Jackson, let's...
You
Where
really
is it?
gotta-
Yeah.
you gotta digest
okay, let's just go through this. Hang on. It's that time again, it's that time again. The voices in my head, they won't go away. Well, that's already disturbing enough for me. You can stop right there. Surely that's... Yeah.
It's a cry for help. The voices...
It's a cry from one of his many personalities for help. And I know...
one of the lawyers in the back of his mind. Don't do it, David. Don't kill.
Yeah, maybe all 1,500 of his lawyers are imaginary. I don't know.
Which lawyer's advising him on how to murder? I don't think... They're probably all there like, shit, hide the evidence.
Yeah, you go. It's just, it is. It's disturbing.
Okay, fair. I think it's brilliant. Suffice it to say, whilst being arguably common themes in the scene, these songs were littered with lyrics about intense personal turmoil pertaining to the concept of, you guessed it, loneliness and personal betrayal and feelings of revenge against those who have abandoned him. But is that really all too different from like mainstream hip hop? Like this?
No, it is. I don't know. Mainstream hip hop seems to be a lot more whiny than it was in our days. Which is remarkable because ours was a lot more blatantly about killing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my point. Like, music in this scene, let's say, has always been a bit like forward facing about like violent tendencies and things like that. Whereas this is more
I don't
just
know, man.
like a
no, I think it was
vibe.
in our generation it started, or generation before, kind of Gen X-y. But don't you remember that there was that period of rap that you listened to and it was all just like, basketball, ball, basketball, ball. And that was it. And it was just like, and it all had that specific type of rapping from back then.
I think I think you're older than me. I don't remember the gentle aspects of rap culture. Like from as early as I remember, it was always about like killing people and like having bitches, mad bitches and shit like that, you know? It's always been like that.
Totally. In our generation, it really was. It went there pretty fast.
It was about basketball. It was like all jolly.
Yeah,
and
before,
like
Can't Touch This and all those old songs where everybody rapped like this. Like, and that do you remember those?
No.
Those were
I
the
remember
days,
Can't
guys.
Touch This.
Make sure that you listen to Classic FM. Sometimes it comes up.
Do you know what he's talking about, Kira, or are you more on my side of the understanding?
I think I understand both.
Okay. Well,
we can't both be right, Kira.
Yeah, there's one or the other. You have to choose a side at some point.
No, I know like the song, like when you're talking about Can't Touch This and it's more of a radio friendly rap. And I know the songs like that, but then I also know the songs like you're talking about, Jackson, where they're a bit more darker in themes. So I think both can be right.
Yeah, but like I feel like Can't Touch This was not emblematic of the scene. Even when it released, I feel like what was emblematic of the scene. Again, I'm not a music guy, really. Like realistically,
I think we're all just showing how.
Yeah, what do you know, Jackson, about the art form that I know and love and treasure?
Yeah, Can't Touch This. Specifically, basketball.
Oh no,
songs?
just all rap in general. I'm a connoisseur.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm
just testing everyone else here. And anytime that I'm ever wrong about this, it's purely just so I can see if anybody catches me out on it.
Yeah. What a useful defense. Whenever I'm wrong, it was intentional. I love it.
Yes, I meant to do that.
But it wasn't just his songwriting that was littered with this type of dialogue. His Twitter activity also indicated that the things that he was singing about and writing lyrics about were perhaps more specific than people had expected. Yeah, so again, to go with what I was saying, like the song lyrics themselves, they're weird when you take them in like out of a vacuum or whatever. But again, I just see that as more emblematic of the scene itself. Like I see these kinds of songs all the time in those genres. But if you then look outside of the songs themselves and look at what he was posting about, then yeah, if there's a connection there, as we'll soon see, then it becomes a bit more troubling.
Totally.
For example, there's a reply from his old handle, AntArt2, that reads, quote, "When I was writing this song, I got a notification from you as you were talking about wanting to be with your mum and your sister again, but your circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We got to push through it, bro." end quote. Again, perhaps not all too relevant, but it does speak to a level of authenticity in his lyrics, and that's the most important thing.
Totally.
Some other notable tweets from the same period of time were of David claiming that religion is just, quote, a money scheme, end quote, and then mentioned that he had been studying nihilism. Dude, is there any more like I'm 14 and this is deep, like just concept such as nihilism? It's so
yeah. I really don't remember rappers being this cringy. Hey,
yeah. Oh, it's so painful. Anyone who's like, oh yeah, I'm so nihilistic, like you're a fucking loser, dude. I'm sorry, but that's immediately loser energy.
Yeah, and you also just got pubes.
Okay, that's an interesting connection.
You don't reckon?
I remember
if
when
anybody is saying I'm
pubes,
nihilistic, you're so right. If you're saying that past teenage years, you are developmentally stunted for sure.
I agree. Yeah, but he was 15 at the time, so that's about peak age where you start studying the blade.
Yeah.
So fair.
Yeah.
Real quick, a word from the sponsor of this episode.
Yeah, classic stuff from the boys there. You know, fall always feels like a reset to me. Between back to school, busy routines and shorter days, finding time to cook can always be tough, even for the most culinary good of us. So that's why I like Factor. Even if I was a professional chef, I would still get it because they're prepped, dietitian approved meals. I mean, come on, never trust a fat chef. And if they are fat, then they need the diet part. Make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic your season gets. There's more variety, more meals. Choose from a wide selection of weekly options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp. Yeah, the fancy stuff. At no extra cost either. Wow, you're not paying fancy, are you? Support your wellness goals, enjoy more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fat. I tell you, I really like this stuff, basically because I'm a lazy slob and it makes me feel like I'm looking after myself when really it's someone else that's doing it for me. I still need a mum, and in lieu of that, this is my surrogate mum. Eat smart at factormeals.com/redthread50 off and use your code redthread50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That code again, redthread50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying order renewing subscription purchase.
Chapter 2, Descent into Darkness. David's alleged victim, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, was born in September of 2010, meaning that at the start of 2022, when the majority of the above songs were written, she was only 11 years old. A young girl compared to David, who was 17 at the time.
Yep.
In one song from early 2022, David sings the phrase, save your tears 7 years, which is the amount of years that Celeste was from 18. Allegedly, David and Celeste had first connected around this time in early 2022, and David's narrative that he was painting with his new music from this time period also indicated that they were romantically linked from a few months earlier in 2022. In April of 2022, not long after his previous songs, he released More Than Just Friends, where he sings, "You told me we would never be more than just friends, but I don't really care. I'm gonna put it to an end. You never really cared about me. It was just pretend. I told you keep it 10 or you'll end up dead. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable." Who would feel uncomfortable, by the way, after being told that you'll end up dead? I certainly wouldn't. He says, I'll continue. "I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. I did everything you told me to. What's wrong with you?" Stupid bitch. Not understanding that I want you dead. It's simple.
Get over it.
Just a week later, David released Dirty Secrets, singing, "I saw you with someone when you told me you were alone. 150 messages I sent right to your phone." This does feel like Dr. Seuss now that I'm reading it out loud. These rhymes are whack. "And you don't even answer because you know your cover's blown." This is when jealousy was introduced as a central theme to his songs, with that jealousy quickly turning into anger. Reminder, he was allegedly linked to 11-year-old Celeste at this time. Themes of death, like in the above lyric about his love interest keeping at 10 or ending up dead, also flow through his songs as well, often referencing fidelity at the risk of death, as in hey, 11-year-old girlfriend of mine, don't bang any other dudes, otherwise you'll end up dead.
Or else.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
This is just crazy already. In July, he released DTN singing, "Locked inside your chest, I'm trying to kill you slowly. Yeah, we're gonna die tonight. Please don't cry about it. I don't want to live my life without you."
What? Okay. All right. I'm starting to think that this man might not be all put together.
What gave you that impression?
Only the last lyric.
Only that one. It didn't make sense. We don't know the earliest moment that Celeste first interacted with David, as in, in granular detail, yet, or when she joined his various online communities like his Discord server, but we do have record of David interacting with a Celeste on the 23rd of October, 2022. David posted in his Discord server, you know what a Discord server is, right, Jordan?
Only because of this podcast.
Yeah, okay. It's just a community.
He's not really a rapper.
Yeah.
What is he?
Yeah, look,
like hip hop.
He's a definitely more of like a singer songwriter. Like, have you heard his songs?
R&B?
No, it's very
it's just hip hop. It's like SoundCloud stuff.
It's really but I'd say it's not really hip hop. Maybe, but he's definitely like a singer.
All right, before I keep mouthing off and saying like, you are a very, very poor legacy to MC Hammer, sir. Let me just.
Yeah, listen to a song. Listen to one of his songs.
Okay, all right. Okay, so he's not a rapper. He's a pussy. Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's quite
you can do
soft.
That.
Yeah, he's definitely not a rapper.
He's not a rapper at all. Well, we are only a mere 40 minutes into this podcast, and we have learned what he actually does. That's what this podcast is all about, discovery.
The style of music really didn't matter. It's just the lyrics themselves. I really don't care about labeling music correctly. I'm sorry, I just don't. They're so nebulous, and the terms always change, and they always shift and change definition.
You're going to get a lot of hate about this.
It was country. He's clearly a country star.
It's country. Where's the singer? You know what's pathetic? It actually is probably closer to country than rap.
Yeah, closer to country. But I still think it's hip hop though. It's still hip hop adjacent.
I think maybe some of his other ones are a little bit more hip hop.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Indie's fine. Indie covers so much. That's great. He's an indie star with 250 million views. I don't know what indie means anymore. We don't know the earliest moment that Celeste first interacted with David or when she joined his various online communities like his Discord server, but we do have record of David interacting with Celeste on 23rd of October 2022. David posted in his Discord, "Celeste in here," at 11:14 p.m. Within the same minute, a Celeste replied, "Hi David, bark." Considering this is a few months after the songs were written, referencing jealousy and various other indications about age, it's assumed that David and Celeste were linked before this Discord message, as well as the fact that in the Discord message, David is clearly aware of who Celeste is when he references her. Perhaps he was instead surprised that she had joined his Discord community. Again, in October of 2022, Celeste was 12 years old and David was himself almost 18. It was not long before this that David released one of his most popular songs, the one that propelled him to stardom as an artist. The song, released in July, was called "Romantic Homicide." The music video can only be described as ritualistic and eerie. In a dark and stormy night, David is shown wearing a blindfold, struggling with a suitcase as he walks away from something. It then depicts a woman wearing white who is seemingly dead, laying in a bed surrounded by candles and white flowers with a bloody mark on her dress. The suitcase is shown to have multiple bloody knives within it, suggesting that David has hidden away evidence inside the suitcase, perhaps at the advice of his 1,500 lawyers. Quote, "In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you." What would this be like? Let's remove all biases towards just murder and stuff. What would this be about, generally speaking? Like if a typical artist wrote these kinds of lyrics.
If I was looking at just those lyrics, I would maybe interpret that as a side of yourself that you don't like.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
okay. I didn't take it in a personal way.
Yeah, that's probably how I would interpret it if I knew absolutely nothing and I was given those lyrics to look at. Because a lot of people have a side of themselves that they don't like, that they're trying to, I guess, in a way you could say, heal and grow and be better. So that's how I would interpret it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Damn,
Just
someone
my 2
did advanced
cents.
English in school.
Yeah. She's analyzing. God damn. And yet we still couldn't come to a decision on what to label this music together collectively. The song currently has wait, let me do the math here. How many numbers is that?
It's nearly 2 billion.
Yeah, that's 1 billion. Okay.
Okay, so he's more popular than Psy.
No, Psy's got to be way more than 2 billion by now, right?
Yeah, but at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he was the guy that cracked a bill.
Yep. But the population has increased since then. The song currently has 1.7 billion streams on Spotify, which is just crazy considering up until this episode, I'd never heard of this man before in my life.
Yeah.
And David is now within the top 100 listened to artists on Spotify. Again, this would be rather innocuous if not for the eventual discoveries and bombshells that would stem from David's future, and already his discography was filling itself up with repetitively themed songs about extreme violence, bitter jealousy, and pent-up loneliness. Man, I don't know what the difference between this and an incel is. Like, these lyrics could be found on like an incel forum, and I'd be like, yep, that makes sense.
Totally. Except for I'm guaranteeing that this man, who is a top 100 artist Spotify, is not an incel. He could be a cell. I highly doubt it. But that is, why does he have such incel-y views?
Yeah, I don't know. And why does it sell? That's more important.
That's
I think.
the weird part.
Yeah, why is it so? I mean, the music, I guess the music sounds good to people. I'm not going to yuck your yum. But are you not listening to the lyrics, though? Like, lyrics are an important part of music to me. To further add to the connections between David and Celeste, the music video was posted on the 7th of September, which is Celeste's birthday. There are going to be many connections that appear to be mere coincidences in this story, this the first of many, but the amount of so-called coincidences begin to add up and become rather damning the further one digs. David began to be very active in his community and Discord channels around this time. That's not a good look. And the resulting screenshots from his Discord usage have been extremely noteworthy. He often talked about his supposed previous addiction to gore videos, even having LiveLeak bookmarked on his computer.
Jesus.
Which is, we've joked before about how violent video games, I don't think that they inherently cause violence.
Neither do I. I don't think they do.
I absolutely do believe, though, becoming addicted to gore videos absolutely would make you 100%, what's the word, acclimatized, I guess, to violence, which makes you more susceptible to doing violent things. So
I just think it's the sign of a sick mind, and I think that you should go to jail immediately if you're bookmarking gore videos.
Yeah,
That's
there's something
genre.
There's something horribly weird. Weird's underselling it really, but horribly indicative of what kind of psyche someone has by the content that they choose to routinely enjoy. And gore videos, like, that's, I don't know why you would willingly submit yourself to watching things like that. It's absolutely horrible. Someone asked him about the first time he watched gore, and he replied, quote, I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. Got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. End quote. Again, so it's been normalized. That level of extreme violence due to the internet and the age in which he was viewing the content has led to an extreme normalization of the content in his brain, which is one of the things we always talk about, where these kinds of things lead to a natural progression in the type of content that you'll then choose to watch, or the type of things that you'll then choose to engage in. It's like a drug, right? You get used to the high, it becomes the new normal, and you now seek out further highs that give you that same feeling initially. That's when you start moving on to more and more horrible things.
I suppose the difference between the two is, tell me your guys' theories. And I'm sure actually somebody probably in the Red Thread audience, because I've realized that a lot of you are a lot more intelligent than I am, but you might have even done a study on this. I would like to know why video games and violent movies don't lead to it, like the big scare in the 90s.
Oh, well, that's easy. I think it's because it's you realize it in a entirely fictional setting. It's not the same as watching a cartel beheading a real person because you don't have the same kind of disconnection between reality that you would if you were reading, a book about extreme violence or something like that. When
That's
you
what
see
I'm
it in such
guessing.
visceral terms, in such real terms, then it's you don't have any kind of disconnection from it.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be the theory on it. It would be nice to see if there's anything else that we're missing on that factor, but I think everybody can agree that if you're into gore, red flag. That's
For sure.
probably not good dating material.
I will think about it this way. When I play like Call of Duty or something, I'm not necessarily thinking about the violent aspects of the video game. Or in Grand Theft Auto, when I'm running over a bunch of pedestrians in Grand Theft Auto, I'm not necessarily thinking about it in real life consequences. It's just a fun gimmick in a video game designed to make your brain receptors light up. When you're watching gore videos online, the entire purpose of you watching it is to put it in real life terms, to put it in that real life connection of seeing someone violently die. That's what you're going there for.
Yeah. It is sick.
It's 100% sick. This wasn't the only time, especially like, again, he was like literally getting so comfortable with it that he bookmarked it and used it as humor. Like, I understand laughing at dark things and finding, dark things funny. I do, of course. It's a coping mechanism in of itself sometimes. But to go out of your way to then engage in violent things, to laugh at it, that shows a enormous level of normalization in your brain that's very unhealthy with the thing that you're with the thing that you're engaging with. Anyway, this wasn't the only time he talked about gore videos, as he would go on to say, quote, "I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes, and a lot of death. I love gore." And this is the part where I was like, oh my God. He says gore is better than adult videos, which is like connecting gore to adult videos.
To it.
Yeah, that's the inference that I got from that. To even say those things in the same sentence relays some level of connection between the two, no?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's like the smoking gun to the kind of character or the psyche that David has. Like, he views gore, violence, and death as something intrinsically motivating. It's something intrinsically exciting. It's so gross.
Oh man, it's next level, isn't it? Like,
it is
jacking off to it. Sorry, but yeah.
Again, the normalcy and the comfortability with it. He's just openly talking about this in public, like in a Discord server with other people. Like, can you imagine admitting that to someone, being like, "Yeah, I jerk off to gore videos, or I find gore videos better than pornography"?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine saying that to someone in real life? Like, there's
something wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the internet was a curse. We weren't ready for it.
No, we really weren't.
His fans in the Discord server also seem to know that David was with Celeste, an 11 to 12-year-old girl. It's not known if they knew their age, but there's definitely some insinuation. And there was a blatant understanding by many that David was into underage girls. There are screenshots from users saying things like, "He only adds underage girls. I'm not joking either." And, quote, "They're all usually 12 to 15 too." No, sorry, 15.
Jesus.
They're all usually 15 to 16 too. That was a mistype. Another user comments, quote, "What the fuck, David, a pedo?" End quote. And this was all back in 2023, I believe. That's where these screen caps are from. So people were talking about his peculiar interest in children as early as 2023. And this was before he got big. As for the connection to Celeste, there seemed to be a bot on the server that shared a playlist called Celeste in David's Closet, indicating that Celeste and David were known to be linked. There have been other alleged screenshots of a few users talking about how David wouldn't follow them back on their social media accounts, but they noticed that he would always follow underage girls back immediately. One of the users then made a fake account pretending to be an underage girl, where he proceeded to add David in an attempt to test the theory, to find that David immediately followed this fake account back.
Damn.
What I don't understand is you've got the pick of the world. Like if you're a celebrity like this, you can literally have consensual sex with some of the hottest women alive.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. I just really do not understand. Why is this guy so sick? Do you reckon his mum had any indicator of it at all? He's ticking all the boxes so far. The only thing that he's really got left is necrophilia, and I'm sure you give him enough time and he will in this, but yeah, it's all done.
I mean, one would argue that jerking off to gore videos is pretty natural.
A form of necrophilia, yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, indications, I think these are the indications.
Mm.
Like, I don't think that what caused it is impossible to know for sure, obviously, neurological or developmental through, you know, your environment or whatever. I don't know. He was homeschooled, internet addiction probably played a part in it, and isolation, things like that. Just the way that the internet's set up. Again, he was exposed to very horrible things from a very early age, like those gore videos. That can't be good for a developing brain to experience. And then to be addicted to that cycle. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why he ended up this way.
Mm.
But I'm not an expert, so I can't say for sure.
No, you can't.
Where was I? As David continued to make music and put out videos, many pointed out that all of the females in these videos look suspiciously like Celeste. And we got a picture here of the main actress from the Here With Me music video from November 2022, and a picture of Celeste, one of her most recent, her missing persons picture, basically, on the right. And yeah, I mean, I went through all of his music videos, a lot of the music videos referenced. They literally all look like her, or very similar to her, to Celeste. So I have no doubt in mind that David wasn't obsessively compelled towards Celeste, and they were linked from at least like early 2022, maybe even earlier. Like there is a level of obsession from a very early age in his professional career, from an early time in his professional career, where it really doesn't make sense otherwise if you don't already consider them linked from a very early time.
Yeah.
The theme of death continued with the video for his song Placebo Effect, showing him being put into the back of a car by 5 men in white clothing. He also shows his so-called alter ego named Itami, I think, which is him in a white blindfold. Itami, the alter ego of David, was featured in Romantic Homicide, David later saying that the bloody woman was the first victim and the ghost of the person he killed. For those curious, Itami translates to pain in Japanese.
Nice.
David is known to enjoy and love Japanese culture, like anime, and as a modern-day poet suffers from very deep thoughts. As an example, on April the 3rd, he released a promotional video which features David saying, quote, "You see, when a human being is drained of all of..." Fuck, I forgot about this quote. This is so cringe. Quote, "You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless, just as the rose. Visually appealing, only good to observe and admire. But the moment you go to pick it up, you get stabbed." End quote.
This guy sucks.
Again, very deep. Very, very,
yeah,
deep
no,
thoughts.
yeah, he absolutely is, yeah.
He's very pseudo-intellectual, very artistic. In September of 2023, on Celeste's birthday again, David released a song titled Rehab on YouTube. This anime featured David literally butchering a female character that bears a resemblance once again to Celeste. As for the lyrics, let's read them. "Broken hearts and bloody sandals, body stacked on top of each other." And "I feel like getting in trouble again, Kickstar's repertoire with a shovel again. I'm on a different level again, she fell in love with the devil again." Perhaps not the most concerning lyrics, but it doesn't do much to break with his tradition of singing about violence, murder, and betrayal. To quash any doubt about David's knowledge and association with Celeste, shortly after Rehab dropped, another song was leaked by David called, you guessed it, Celeste. I mean, it's undeniable at this point that he at least knew someone named Celeste. Like, the connections are too strong. Like, he's the women on all of his songs look like Celeste, and then he releases a song called Celeste.
Leaked. He never released it.
Yeah, he never released it. Sorry, you're right. It leaked. The lyrics certainly paint an interesting picture. Here they are. Darling, I would love to ease your mind, but you only open up when you get high. Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. And for those keeping track, this was in 2023 when David was 18 and Celeste was around the age of 13.
Mhm.
So he definitely knew a Celeste. The Celeste looks like the girl in question, and also he's singing about it in a romantic connotation about undressing her and loving her and all of those things about a 13-year-old girl. I don't know what to say other than this. I don't know how this managed to remain under the surface for so long. This was 2023, man.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy. It's crazy that this was just under the surface of this guy's meteoric, successful career for 2 years.
Nuts.
And people were talking about it, and it never bubbled up to a point where it, broke through the mainstream. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Up until this point, references to Celeste had only been made in Discord channels, and this was the first reference to Celeste by David in a song. It seems as though David was becoming comfortable with flaunting his illegal interactions with minors, and perhaps he found teasing people with these little hints as something of a sick game. Again, he's already very comfortable with very deplorable things, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me in that he thinks that there's perhaps nothing wrong with, sliding in these subtle, quote-unquote, subtle little, teasers. To further discredit any more doubt about whether or not the Celeste in question was the same Celeste that would go on to be murdered, it was at this time that David was seen in a stream with Celeste appearing alongside him. Again, very comfortable. When people noticed and asked him about her, he replied with, quote, "You are a Fed," end quote. I don't know. What else are you meant to take from that?
He's got your number.
You see the picture here on this page, Jordan? You see the picture of her in the background? And someone in Discord says, "Hey, who's the girl?" And he replies, "You are a Fed."
You are a Fed.
He would also go on to threaten those asking about her with legal action, saying, "Wallahi, he's finished," in reference to the user who had initially asked about it. "I know what he leaked already. We're literally preparing to sue him. The user is about to owe $30,000. Legal team going bonkers right now." Bro.
RN.
All 1,500 lawyers gearing up for a tactical lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, look, I really don't understand. I'll reserve judgment to the end of this, but am I to understand that there is still some contention as to whether or not there is a connection between them and or not? Is that where we're getting to?
I think it's undeniable that there's a connection, given that we're going to go over more connections in the future. Like, it's pretty undeniable that they were connected. The thing up for debate, I suppose, is whether or not he was directly involved in her murder. That's the contentious part, if there is a contentious part.
Well, I don't need
I'm letting
any
my
more
biases shine through. Kira, would that be an accurate kind of portrayal of it?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like there's just so much evidence that proves they're together. Although I've seen things about like there was another Celeste and there was other things. I mean, and even now there's still stuff coming out. Like there's going to be stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's just so fresh. But I think that the most contentious thing and what people are questioning is was he involved in her murder? Definitely.
Okay. But I think it's pretty undeniable that they were connected to some degree. The murder victim, Celeste, that's Celeste, the main Celeste that we're talking about, and David, I think is undeniably they were connected. To make matters even worse, over 2023, David had a habit and history of engaging with underage girls, sending direct messages to them. In January of 2024, he posted a TikTok video with a bunch of Hello Kitty themed items, which is a brand that Celeste loved. When someone replied to the video jokingly saying, quote, "Adopt me," in the comments, David responded by tagging a random TikTok account with, quote, "Should we?" The account that he tagged had no information or posts on it, and it was almost certainly someone's alt or burner account. However, It did list Celeste's birthday as the account birthday, meaning it was almost certainly her account. So he is directly tagging some account with the same birthday as Celeste, the missing person Celeste. And then there's a picture here of him messaging underage girls and people being like, yo, he followed me in 2023 when I was well under the age of 18. And these are our texts. I also remember one of his friends saying in a group chat I was in saying all David follows is teen girls, something along the lines of this. So there must be other victims. Shortly after, in February 2024, Celeste Hernandez was first reported missing by her family. A Facebook post from her aunt, Dora Hernandez, read, quote, Celeste Hernandez is my niece. She didn't make it to her classes this morning in Lake Elsinore, California. She's 13 years old. If anyone has seen her, please contact me, her parents, Mercedes Martinez, or the police. Shortly afterwards, Celeste's mother, Mercedes, made her own post online, and other family members and friends began to spread the same messages across their social media. About 5 days later, Mercedes posted an update, which is now deleted, where relatives can be seen responding with relief. In another thread, someone posted that Celeste had come home last night, meaning that she would have been back by around February 20th. Regardless, she had been effectively missing for just under a week. During the same time period, David's social media activity spiked and he began posting comments referencing a Hello Kitty girl. For example, there's a TikTok here on the left of this document where it's a post from David on TikTok that says, when your card declines at therapy and they bring in that one Hello Kitty girl you met in 2021. And it's him clutching at his heart on the ground, looking like he's very happy that she's there. He's also wearing what looks to be a Hello Kitty, what do you call it? Like a merchandise, like a doll on his waistband. It looks like there's a Hello Kitty on his, hanging from his belt, basically, which is gross to say the least. Celeste was known to be a massive fan of Hello Kitty, and these comments by David during this time are certainly references to Celeste. Within a few months, on April 5th, Celeste was again reported missing. She was last seen wearing Hello Kitty sandals. The recurrence of her disappearance has created speculation online that certain members of her family must have known that she was staying with David and tacitly approved of it, while other family members continued to insist that she return home. But this is speculation currently. What isn't really speculation is that she was almost certainly with David. Within David's own community and Discord server, it was openly acknowledged that he was in a relationship, and some members seem to be aware that his girlfriend was none other than the missing teenager. One user, going by Ponzalo, was among the first to publicly call him out. In a series of messages left on the Discord server, he accused David of taking his little sister's friend to Los Angeles to quote, to bang at his house, end quote, before telling other users that David was a pedo who liked kids. Outside of Discord, he should change his artist name to P3DO. I think that's.
Oh yeah, that'd be so good.
Change it, David.
P3O. Huh?
C3PO wasn't a pedo. Don't do that. R2D2 on the other hand.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. Dude, I don't know why that fucking made me laugh so much. Thinking about R2D2 being a pedo is fucking hilarious.
And no one knows because he only communicates and beeps. He could be saying some really demonstrably evil shit.
Stuff. I know, because pretty much the only thing he can do is take out that one little sparky dildo.
Yeah,
I understand the mechanics behind it, but, you know, who else understands him other than C3PO?
I mean, he was hanging out with young Anakin a lot in the first movie.
That's true. Say no more.
But also, he wasn't the only one victimizing young Anakin in that first movie. Doesn't like Natalie Portman also like flirt with him loosely during that movie? This is weird thinking back to it.
It is weird, isn't it? What the hell? So many weird things in Star Wars. So much incest. Anyway.
Outside of Discord and this particular user, however, the pushback was effectively non-existent, even though it was common knowledge that he was with Celeste. Discord messages from someone saying he has a girlfriend, and then another person says, pretty sure he's dating right now. And then someone says, what to he has a girlfriend? And then the person who said he has a girlfriend replies saying, yeah, her name is Celeste. And this was back in March 2024. So as early as March 2024, that's after her first disappearance, right?
Mm.
Yes. Celeste's first disappearance was in February 20th, I think, or around that time, February 2024 anyway. So a month later, people are confirming that they know that he has a girlfriend by the name of Celeste a month after that. And then she would go on to be disappeared again 1 month after that. Someone else says, we've already gone over Ponsalo's messages. As an example, showing how confident and comfortable David was with this being common knowledge and how everyone was more or less aware of David and Celeste being together, David actually even streamed live with Celeste on Twitch during this time period while she was missing. While not directly stating that the girl was Celeste and obfuscating her identity with large glasses and an oversized hoodie. What is this, a fucking cartoon? What are we doing right now? Viewers recognized her as Celeste immediately, with several commenters mentioning her by name. In the stream, the unspeakable is actually directly said.
You are feared.
It's worse than that. I'm going to read this out, but I implore you guys to check out the actual video because just to see how jovial the vibe is in the stream, and also you can very easily tell that it's Celeste. David grabs Celeste's shoulders and he says, "I media trained you." Celeste says, "No, you didn't." David said, "That's controversial." And then Celeste replies, "It's controversial to rape kids." And then she laughs. David then says, "Well, it's been a good one. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh my, delete everything, delete everything. Everything goes, everything goes, everything." And then the stream ends.
Jesus. How do you not even have the fortitude to think about it in terms of self-preservation? I do not understand why you would be that blatant about it. Usually when an online figure is a P, much like our R2D2 friend, who I think, honestly, the evidence is more overwhelming than it is for D4vd. But usually they're a little more... You usually get caught with some suggestive hentai on your drive or something. It's not that blatant.
It's very blatant here, and I don't know why. He was clearly very
You're more of a connoisseur about online peds. This is quite
Can you frame that in a way that doesn't make me also sound like an online predator? I
wish I could, Jackson, but I have my questions about you, mate. So
I do a show called Criminally Stupid, where we laugh at stupid pedophiles online because there's a lot of them.
And so this is pretty, okay, right.
This is blatant. Like I really don't understand this. The only thing that would make sense is if he didn't know her age, but I don't know how.
I don't know how you could not know that after years, but all right.
Yeah, I mean,
it might be a very shallow relationship.
He was interacting with her as early as her being 11 years old. I don't think it's at all believable to think that an 11-year-old is above age. So I really do not understand how this. There's a level of comfort here that is just extremely baffling. And we've got messages in the chat of the live stream as well on the screen cap. People saying like David and Celeste island trip ? Talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island. I don't know how this kept going. I don't know how people weren't reporting this to the police or weren't talking about this, but it seems to be tacitly known in the chat. They're making jokes about island trips, for example, in the chat about David and Celeste. Like, is this just a pedophile of a community of pedophiles, or what is this? Like, they seem to know. The chat seems to know that this is Celeste.
Yeah,
she's underage.
Jokey about it. Weird.
Extremely weird. And the disguise wasn't working, obviously, because people knew that she was Celeste and they're typing her name in the chat. So the goofy large glasses and the hoodie didn't work. Should have thrown in a fake mustache, maybe.
Culturally, we sort of exist in the realm of pedo hunting being sort of prime cultural capital, I guess. Maybe there's just entire online communities where the thoughts around pedos is, everyone's float your boat, whatever.
Oh yeah, there absolutely is. You just need to go to the lolicon communities and things like that, where they actually argue that pictures of children, drawn pictures of sensibly child pornography, are totally okay because it's drawn, guys. It doesn't matter at that point if it's just drawn children. Who cares, right? That I'm enjoying this material, right? Even though you are literally talking about being sexually attracted to children. I think there's a word for that, in fact.
Well, it's pretty much like saying, NAMBLA, there's entire communities where obviously I would imagine that NAMBLA would be a little more loose on the age than the average person, but I'm just talking about
this is like a general
maybe
community.
in hip hop scenes and all, it's weird. Maybe it's okay. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that this is. Well, at least I hope it's not emblematic of the entire hip hop community. That'd be terrifying. I mean, there are for sure prominent artists, musicians that obviously like P. Diddy, where it's pretty clear that this went on for a long time. But yeah, I would hope the general audience isn't enabling it. You know what I mean? It's not like this where they're in the chat being like, David and Celeste island trip to LMAO, like that shit. I just don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Joke. It's really fucking weird and disturbing.
So weird.
I can't make sense of it. Anyway, on TikTok and Instagram, David began dropping hints that he was essentially compensating Celeste to remain with him because, I guess, make it even worse, solicit her. Make her a prostitute. What the fuck is happening? By April 2024, which coincided with her second appearance, an unreleased... Oh, wait, sorry. To do with the compensation, we got the picture on the right here. It's a picture of David on TikTok, and he's posting a image of like iMessages, someone saying, how many racks can I have? He sends like a good boy halo face, smiley halo face, angel face. And the woman replies, give me 10 bands right now. And then he sends $9,000 to her. And then the description of the TikTok reads, I can't stop falling for her. So the implication being, if this is about Celeste, who he was dating at the time, then he's just giving her money and compensating her with money for some reason. By April 2024, which coincided with her second disappearance, an unreleased track titled Drink and Drive surfaced, which contained the following lyrics. I don't know why it's funny to me, but just the fact that like one of his songs is about encouraging drinking and driving. It's like he's hitting all the fucking... he's hitting everything.
The worst influencer ever.
He's just hitting everything. Everything that could possibly be bad.
Yeah.
He's going to make a song about like not eating your vegetables
jaywalking?
Or something.
Yeah, let's do that one. Yep. Chuck that in.
Fucking weird. Anyway, this track surfaced, which contained the following lyrics. Are you still under the car? Stay with me. I know it's my fault. Oh God, I'm here. Can't you take me instead? She didn't deserve to go. I'll be crying in this jail cell tonight. End quote. This is ominous. Honestly, this is ominous lyrics because this is the time, right, Kira, that she disappeared for the second time. Yeah, so she disappeared in April 2024 and he suddenly releases a track about someone who wasn't meant to die, let's say, or someone dying that he regrets, which is odd. While granted this is contextualized and framed as part of the song's narrative, as are most of the previous songs released by David, these lyrics are undeniably ominous when looking at the similarities to the lyrics and what would eventually happen. We come to chapter 3, Red Strings. Do you know what a red string is? Do you know what red string is in the concept of fate, Jordan?
Some kind of period reference?
No, but I admire your creativity on that one. The red string of fate is a predominant belief throughout East Asian culture originating from Chinese mythology. To explain the concept as simply as possible, the idea is that everyone is born with an invisible red string around their finger that is connected to their lover or soulmate, essentially stating that we are fated to end up with that person. Just like the red thread over here, how we each have a red string around each of our fingers connecting us forever in friendship and fate. It's beautiful.
Very Chinese of you, Jackson. I will say that is much more beautiful than my theory.
Yeah, your period theory. And it's also funny considering...
Well, it's also beautiful as well.
It's also funny considering that Red Thread has lost 3 hosts within 1 year. They snipped that red string as fast as possible. Luckily, I lassoed that onto Jordan's finger, though. And I'm not letting him have any scissors. It's often used in romantic imagery for obvious reasons. David believed in this concept heavily when he was asked about the invisible string theory on the Zach Sang show. The invisible string theory sounds like a physics-related thing, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
very ahead of its time.
He explained that though there are different versions of this concept, he believes that everyone is connected through the feeling of love, and that his albums are about that emotion, love, which is certainly an interesting spin given the lyrics are heavily death-themed. On his only album, With It, he has an interlude titled Invisible String Theory, which is a sort of argument between him and an unknown girl. The girl starts off by asking why he never holds her hand anymore, and there is some light bickering before he asks her why she thinks that they met, and she brings up the invisible string theory. Kira, would you mind reading this one?
Yeah. Okay, so David goes, I got a question for you now. Okay, why do you think we met? Yeah, why do you think we met? And the girl says, well, I think personally, have you ever heard of the invisible string theory? David replies, oh yeah. And she goes, essentially that's so basically we met because we were supposed to meet. And we're connected because we're supposed to be connected. It's kind of like that quote, I loved you before I existed and I'll love you even when I die. David agrees, saying word, and she says, so don't leave me, please. And David goes, you've got me, you got me.
That's the most beautiful pedophilia I've ever heard.
Why did my red string of fate have to be attached to an 11-year-old girl? Oh no.
It's fate's fault.
Yeah,
Your Honor, I would like to excuse my client on basis of fate.
That's the best that his army of lawyers can come up with.
But there's so many of them in the court that the judge is like, all right, well, we're going to have to excuse it. I cannot spend the rest of my life in this one case. It's such a good tactic. I can't believe I've never thought of it before. 1,500 lawyers.
Yeah, just keep adding lawyers. Why do they always stick with like 2 lawyers, or like maybe in like OJ's case, like there were 5 lawyers? Go big, 1,500. Have a whole
really
army there.
There's no such thing as too many cooks when it comes to lawyers, apparently.
Exactly. It's even just outside of them coming up with a compelling argument, as we just did with only one person. It's more about just the intimidation. If 1,500 lawyers walk into that courtroom behind you,
one of them's got to be good.
It's not even down to the legalese at that point. I just don't want to get beat up by 1,500 lawyers. It's a lot of lawyers and a lot of suitcases.
Yeah.
Plus, they control the law at that point.
Suitcase. Yeah, totally.
This kind of belief in a preordained love ties in heavily to his overall obsessive tendencies. His song lyrics are already littered with ultra-violence, jealousy, betrayal, and obsessive love. Tie that in with the heavy belief that he is meant to be with someone in particular, it's not hard to imagine the extreme responses and reactions David may have had when he finds out that his so-called fated partner perhaps didn't feel as strongly for him as he had initially believed, or maybe her love as a fan was more superficial than one constructed by a so-called red string, which is, of course, the strongest of bonds that one can have. This is all to say that it's believable that David may have acted violently whenever Celeste, someone he had already acted obsessively about, may have voiced concerns and may have attempted to leave him, and that this belief in the red string theory is just more evidence of the particular tendencies of David. We come to chapter 4, Obsession. Not long after Celeste's second disappearance, messages were allegedly exchanged between a girl named Anissa and Celeste. In them, Celeste wrote, quote, "Do not text, he came back. He's crying. I fixed him. I don't know how. We both cried together and he changed his mind. I'm happy he did though." End quote. It's just so sad to think about a 13-year-old girl in an abusive relationship like this. It's actually heartbreaking.
Like, yeah, it is.
It's
so young.
So many people failed this poor girl. Like, it's just, how does this even happen?
I don't know. I really can't understand how there's parents that are that shit.
I know. And it seems like they, again, this is speculation, but it seems like because she went missing the first time and then came back and then went missing again, they knew about it and at least somewhat, again, approved of it. Again,
yeah, no, definitely.
That's speculation, but I just don't see what other answer there is for how she disappeared twice within the span of 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anissa
worse
replied,
than David, frankly.
Anissa replied, well, I don't, I won't go that far.
No, that's the official Red Thread opinion. Everyone agrees with it. Thank you very much. Your words, Kira. The baffle.
What did I do?
What did I do?
I don't know. I don't know how you come up with these theories. But
God, the police
did you hear that?
Yeah, they're after you. They heard you have a bad opinion.
Okay, it'll just be a mere 10 hours from now, Kira, and then you are done. You are done. They're crossing over state.
Driving all the way to Sydney to arrest you for your opinion.
The bad opinion police. Yeah.
So then Anissa replied, but you have to swear you're going to stay safe. Are you going to talk to David or go back with him? Because I don't want you to get into any more trouble with him. Celeste then replies, I'm safe. No, I'm not. Which means, no, I'm not going to get back with him. At least that's how I read the message. So she says, I'm safe. No, I'm not going to get back with him. Other messages describe physical harm, with Celeste saying that she has bled as a result of what happened with David. And she also admitted that she was pressured into being with someone else who she called Gus.
What?
Do you have more questions about that?
I do, but I'm scared of the answers.
Yeah, basically it seems like she was pressured into having sex with someone else as well, potentially pimping, Celeste out to this Gus figure.
Pimping out. Of course there's someone called Gus, hey?
Yeah, it is a very...
Look, no offense to any Gus out there, but you were dealt a bad hand in life.
It's not crazy to think that this David would potentially run in pedophile circles as well, given how comfortable he is with stuff like that and gore. I feel like the online community pipeline to those kinds of things is probably pretty streamlined in this day and age with Discord communities and dark web communities and stuff, and people, especially teenagers like David at the time, who was comfortable with live leak and shit like that, would have been aware of those kinds of things. So it's potentially it's possible that this Gus figure is someone that he knew in those communities, and they were basically sharing Celeste or something. Again, speculation, but what we do know is that Celeste did message saying that she was pressured into being with someone else who she called Gus. David, meanwhile, was talking publicly in interviews about his long-term plan, which he described as saving enough money to disappear to a remote island off the grid in about 4 years' time, which is seemingly a rather arbitrary number, given that would make him around 24 years old. However, it is also the amount of time that it would take Celeste to come of age, to turn 18, which... Yeah, I mean, that's insidious. He's saying this shit in interviews. He's talking about how, in 4 years' time, I want to just, I want to use all my money to leave America, find an island, settle down. Why in 4 years, David? That's such an arbitrary number. Just ignore the fact that my girlfriend's
Also, on top
14.
of that, if we are, going to ignore the girlfriend being 14 years old, I think with 250 million views on one song, you've got enough money to go to Fiji.
Yeah, he can buy an island by now, surely.
Surely.
Why 4 years, huh?
Yeah, exactly, David. Answer that.
Chandler OTD also made the claim at this time that David was paying off people who knew about his relationship with Celeste, with one photo even showing him handing cash to someone in a parking lot like it's some kind of drug deal.
Damn.
The picture of this, it'll be up on screen right now, but it's a picture of David in a parking lot handing over some money. I think it was Instagram stories. So the next slide is, he told me he gave someone in Elsinore money because he was with a minor and showed me a picture of it too. I didn't even know if I believed it at the time, but now I'm tweaking. Said about someone bribing someone to stay quiet about a child being victimized. Also, by the way, that person who's accepting the money, if this is true, that person should be held accountable for this shit as well. Like that person right there in that photo, if these rumors, let's call them, are true, that he is involved in staying hush-hush about this shit and accepting money as an incentive for that, then yeah, you are absolutely complicit in the crime.
Totally. Yeah.
Another Reddit user, Alpha Tango Cheesecake, echoed these claims when the user posted that his sister, who was at the time in the 9th grade, knew a girl in the 8th grade, insinuated to be Celeste, who had visited and dated David, and that David had bribed several students to keep silent. He had this whole network going on, by the sounds of it, of people being paid to stay silent about the fact that he was with Celeste. Which, if you're having to bribe other 14-year-olds to stay quiet about the fact that you're grooming another 14-year-old, you have to know that shit's getting out eventually, right?
Yeah, surely. I mean, they're 14-year-olds.
Yeah, there's no honor among 14-year-olds. That secret's getting out. They're going to tell their first boyfriend or whatever, and then their boyfriend's going to tell his parents.
With the usual, don't tell anyone.
Yeah,
we all know how. We've all been in high school. David, I assume, went to high school. There's
No,
no
it was
way.
No, he didn't.
He was homeschooled, remember?
Yeah, but like at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, he might have.
Was it the whole time?
No, I think he
Okay,
did
so-
go to school.
All right, well, yeah, all right. Well, that's totally excusable then. Fair enough. I take it all back. I thought that he was just homeschooled from like a stint of it. But yeah, look, no honor amongst 14-year-olds. But also, doesn't it sound like a really unballer version of the Epstein network?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like a really dumb version of that, hey?
Yeah, I mean, yes, he's well, I mean, he literally was just talking about buying an island. Like,
Yeah, I know.
talk about taking inspirations from the wrong people.
Yeah. Average St. James.
It seemed like that there was a lot of smoke surrounding David's actions during this time, though they never seemed to materialize in any large moment. And David's obsessive actions towards Celeste were already evident. However, to fully capture just how obsessive his behavior was and how concerning his behavior was, just beyond the fact that he was, I mean, it seemed like it was pretty common knowledge that he was grooming or he was being a pedophile, basically. He was with a 14-year-old girl. Even disregarding this, his behavior at the time was even more concerning. We need only look at the kind of content that he was posting to his social media. In June, he posted a meme captioned, quote, "Me after hearing about her past with other boys. I'm jealous and disgusted by her actions," over an image of Patrick Bateman aiming a nail gun at a woman's head. Other similar content at the time were of a woman being scalded by boiling water for wishing another boy a happy birthday, and another post captioned, quote, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes," alongside footage of meat being sliced. Again,
Yeah.
all of these posts could be pushed aside as jokes or relevant to the themes of his music or just simple memes. But when you take them into the context of what was happening at the time, as well as David's previous behavior and obsessions, it begins to paint an extremely concerning picture beyond just these being an example of dark, edgy meme humor. I mean, it's just, fuck me, Dad. Like, I'm just looking at this. I'm just looking at this video, like the screenshot of the video of the woman, it's a scene from American Psycho with "Me after hearing about her past with other boys. I'm jealous and utterly disgusted by her actions." Like, what's the joke? Is the joke that it's sarcasm? Like, he's not actually that way. He's playing it. But there's absolutely people out there that do act like this and believe this and feel this, murderous rage whenever someone betrays them in this way or whatever, or just this hatred towards women. Like that post is liked by 35,000 people. Like,
Wow, they all thought he had a point.
Yeah, what is happening?
And I'm sure that all of them got the nuanced layers of sarcasm that David was obviously portraying.
It's just really concerning, this new...
It is, isn't it?
This new movement of just very, very comfortable with the idea of nail gunning a woman in the back of the head.
Nail gunning.
Like, I mean, it's just like the whole thing of like, you guys know that the guy in American Psycho wasn't the good guy, right? Like,
Yeah, that's what I don't
he wasn't
understand.
portrayed that way.
Yeah. The internet does seem to really put to light. That can be expanded out to so much about American Psycho culture, can't it?
Yeah. Like,
It's not just that TikTok.
people miss the point and immediately go to, dude, that guy's so alpha. I want to be him for real.
Yeah, I know. Look at his watch.
Yeah, he's
What
wearing
the
a suit.
fuck?
Look at your business card.
And
It's so
he kills
sick.
chicks.
It's,
What?
it's extremely
It's
concerning.
fucked. It is.
As time sadly went on after Celeste's second disappearance with very little updates as to the well-being of her, David grew increasingly comfortable with, again, weaving references to her and allegedly his actions into his music. Again, we do have to say allegedly a lot because it's all allegations so far. In February 2025, David released a video for his song One More Dance, which depicted himself stuffed into the trunk of a car, driven into the woods, and then buried. A month later, he teased another track with the lyrics, "Nobody ever caught me, but I spoke too soon in the back of a police car. I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same thing if they ask you about her." On the surface, it seems impossible to believe this could be about anything other than Celeste, but the song actually claims to be about something that had happened in November of 2016. This wasn't the first time this date has come up. For example, in another song, David boasts, "You wouldn't believe what I did as a kid back in 2016. There's no evidence of a crime committed by David at the time, but given he seemed incapable of not incriminating himself through his music, it's heavily believed that this isn't just lyricism for art's sake. David also admitted in an interview that April, when reflecting on his breakout track Romantic Homicide, that back in middle school, he longed for the kind of heartbreak his friends were experiencing. In Turkey Tom's video, The David Files, Tom speculates that David would have been 11 years old in 2016, which is the very age of Celeste when he allegedly began to pursue her. When you connect those threads, he's repeated references to 2016 and his fixation on being 11 and his later obsession with Celeste at that same age, it suggests that whatever happened in November of 2016 must have been extremely formative for David, and it may have been a large factor in David's obsession with Celeste. It's just an interesting little tangent there. It's got nothing to do with the whole Celeste side of this story, for example, but there are lyrics that do suggest that something happened back in November of 2016, and at this point, I think it's irresponsible to just pretend like his lyrics are just, you got to know.
Yeah, I'm so much more curious about that than everything else now, because this is just foregone conclusion. This is damning piece of evidence after damning piece of evidence.
Yeah, like what happened in November 2016.
But what happened last summer? Yeah.
Again, this would have been when he was 11. So, I don't know. And it doesn't seem like it's something about, him being victimized, because he does say, again, the lyrics, "Nobody ever caught me, but I spoke too soon in the back of a police car. I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same if they ask you about her." So I don't know. I don't know what to really, that's just another angle, something there to further investigate. To continue on in this timeline, or in the timeline, it was around this time that David's later music began to become even more ominous and disturbing. Somehow, if that's even possible, I can't believe that's a sentence that we're just writing, 12 pages into this document, 14 pages into this document. How could it get more ominous and disturbing? As an example of some of these lyrics, in one song he writes, "Is this really love if you don't say the word anymore?" suggesting that he was beginning to feel as though the relationship that he was having was perhaps one-sided. And as we go back to before what we said about, the red string and stuff, in the context of his other songs and his general themes, we already know that David may have not taken this kind of betrayal very well. He continues in the chorus, "He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you, and God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do. Eyes looking right through me, why can't I hear your heartbeat? Dance with me under the moon above, let us keep this perfect memory." All of these elements bring with them disturbing true crime parallels, like how Ed Kemper would call his victims his so-called spirit wives. There's this general belief across a bunch of different serial killers throughout time that the people that they kill are intrinsically tied to them as, wives in the afterlife or whatever. They're connecting.
God, really?
They're connecting themselves to their murder victims permanently by this act of murder. So, yeah, I mean, you've got that element of him saying he might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you, and God knows it's true.
Fuck.
Like that's
spirit wife.
So certainly an interesting interpretation. Regardless, as well as a perverse sense of ritualism as shown in the music videos. His videos and cover art also began using a recurring motif, a red string, as previously discussed.
Damn.
To make the connections even more concrete, the mention of the moon in these lyrics is extremely interesting, given that Celeste's 2025 birthday, which is when these songs were released, her birthday fell on a blood moon.
And her name is Celeste.
Yeah, true. That too.
So think on that, everyone. I just like to add in my own little two-page.
That wasn't even in the document. Jordan just blew this case wide open. Holy fuck.
The missing piece of the puzzle. Dare you question my logic?
Does Celeste mean moon, or does it just mean stars?
I think it just means, all of it
heaven.
Together, maybe?
Celestial is just heaven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, heavenly, celestial.
It'd be different if her name was Luna or something. But regardless,
Okay, thanks, Jackson.
Don't you dare
thanks for like
interject.
the only part that you say, no, that's a bit silly and dumb.
When you interject with your
everything.
stupidity.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Well, Celeste also has the number, like, if you put the letter E, it's pretty close to the number 4 in the alphabet. So there you go. No, let's hear that one out.
I'm just putting you back in your place.
As soon as Jordan says anything, well, let's go look up the definition of Celeste, shall we?
I just have to put you in your place. I don't want you getting too confident.
Yeah, well, you've definitely done that. Dude, I really feel like somebody new on the meeting board on a Monday meeting,
Trying real hard.
Trying too hard, and then you, just the manager at the top, being like, all right, are there any serious answers?
Yeah, good effort, but you're fucking wrong. No, I still, jokes aside, I think there is still a connection between Celeste and the moon. Like, I still think the word is loosely connected. Regardless of what was happening, I just want to make it clear that I'm not bullying you too hard. You do deserve your
some
Scooby
dues,
snacks for
really,
the episode.
really slight dues. Yeah.
Chapter 5, Disturbed Success and Success Disturbed. Regardless of what was happening in the Discord channels or Instagram comments, 2025 has so far seen the height of David's career. Despite the public being very aware of his various interactions with minors, as we've already established, it has been an extremely successful year for him. In fact, the most successful year of his career so far. He has collaborated with Fortnite on its anthem, worked with various massive artists, had his songs featured and promoted in various major series like Arcane and Invincible, and his songs have enjoyed tens of millions of listeners. All of this while there were various Discord messages and Instagram comments floating around warning the public that David was an active threat to children. Perhaps these messages were buried under the enormous amount of support that David had received due to his meteoric success in this time period, but that would all change on the evening of September 8th, 2025, days after the blood moon that coincided with Celeste's birthday. Authorities were called to an impound lot on North Mansfield Avenue in Los Angeles, where they found a 2023 Tesla with Texan plates. The car had been parked there for over 3 days after previously sitting on Bluebird Avenue for weeks. People had complained about a foul odor coming from the car, and inside the front trunk, police discovered a plastic bag containing the dismembered remains of a teenage girl, approximately 5'2" in height, weighing just 71 pounds, with wavy black hair, dressed in a tube top and leggings. The body was quickly identified as Celeste, even though she was even though she was approximated as weighing only 71 pounds or 32 kilograms. This is a far cry from the weight that was listed on her missing person notice, which was on 130 pounds or 58 kilograms. This was indicative of extreme malnourishment, even beyond what is to be expected of typical body weight loss during decomposition.
No.
The car, though never reported as stolen, was registered to none other than David Anthony Burke.
Oh, I wonder if he's linked.
Yeah. While police were making the discovery, David was on stage performing the very songs littered with references to Celeste. Very tone-deaf elements of the concert were also shown over the following day, including references to funerals, which again hint towards his involvement in the murder of Celeste. Another key indication that both of the deceased victims, Celeste, was linked to David beyond her being found in his abandoned car, which, hey, do you need any more links? Like, come on, she's found in his car. What are we talking about here?
I don't know. Why are we,
Anyway, if you need more evidence that they were linked, there was a tattoo that was found on her body. In particular, the tattoo found on her finger, which bore David's name inked in red in the same spot where David had a tattoo that simply said, shush. Which, fuck me, dude. The same finger, so her finger is tattooed with the word David, and in the same spot on his body, the word shush is tattooed.
God, this is a really disturbing story.
It's so disturbing. Another connection was noticed by fans of David. The original location where the Tesla had first been abandoned, that was on, I think it was Bluebird Avenue or something along those lines. Let me check. Yeah, Bluebird Avenue. So the location where the car was first abandoned was only about 100 yards away from where David used to live. Am I living in like some stupid dimension where how can people argue that this isn't connected to David?
What are they arguments? Do we know? It's just he makes songs I like. Is that what it boils down to?
I think people are saying that, questioning the possibility of him being in, it's LA, right? It's Los Angeles? That's where she was found. Him being in Los Angeles at the time of her possible death because he was touring. I remember seeing that argument somewhere.
Yeah, but these are ultra wealthy individuals. Like, we don't know the murder date as of now. There's like, that's going to be a very hard thing for the investigators to narrow down the exact time of death, surely. So you don't exactly know when she died. And the fact that she's malnourished, again, this is all speculation. I don't want to put anything out there. I hate when like armchair investigators weigh in on shit and like derail investigations done by professionals. But like the fact that she's malnourished to me implies that she was held to some degree for a long period of time and wasn't given the correct nutrients or proper nourishment. So you don't know how long she was held in a bad situation. So narrowing down the murder time seems impossible. And given that, like these people that are touring, they still come home.
Yeah.
They like Taylor Swift. I'm sure in between her, she has a gig on 1 week and then she'll fly home the very day that she finishes, she'll hop on a private jet as soon as she finishes that concert and comes home to Los Angeles for like 3 days and then jets off again somewhere else. I mean, you to a lesser extent do that, Jordan. Like you're flying like
multiple times a week. Thank you for adding lesser extent, but yes, that's true. It's pretty undeniable.
I mean, it's not a private jet, but it's
certainly not a private jet. And that's the whole thing is, man, I could not imagine how much faster going on a private jet is.
Yeah, because you choose when to travel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that's unless he's like literally he was proven to not be in the country between 2024, like March 2024 through to like, I'm going to say like September 2024. No, probably even later, like just throughout the rest of 2024.
Yeah.
Then I don't think you can rule him out based on his tour dates. But yeah, again, speculation. We're not dealing with facts right now. Police have stated that they have since investigated that premises in connection with the investigation. In the immediate aftermath, David's upcoming shows were cancelled, while authorities stated that he had been cooperative throughout the investigation, even though he had not been formally named as a suspect in the murder, nor had he been designated as a person of interest, which is incredibly surprising given everything we have covered so far. One of the first people to speak publicly about the discovery of Celeste's body was her brother, Matthew Hernandez. In an interview with NBC LA, Matthew confirmed that their relatives in Lake Elsinore knew Celeste had been seeing David, and that her disappearance began the night she went to a movie with him. When someone contacted him on Instagram, Matthew openly stated, quote, "Yes, it was David. I met him once in person. I knew about him taking Celeste and went to the police, but they waved it off for lack of evidence. They still haven't done anything toward him," end quote. He added that Celeste had often told their family members that David was waiting until she turned 18 to marry her. Again, bad parents. When told about David's Discord server and all of the incriminating evidence found there, as well as his other social media accounts, Matthew said, quote, "I wish I would have known. I could have used this. I don't even have Discord," end quote. He also later confirmed the authenticity of Celeste's messages that had references being pressured into seeing someone by the name of Gus, someone whom Matthew confirmed had since been shot dead. Matthew then provided previously unreleased pictures of Celeste confirming that he was her brother. And man, I know it sucks to get real in this kind of shit. But you're seeing those pictures of Celeste there and those Instagram messages, like she looks so young.
Yeah,
she was a young girl. She was a child.
Yeah, it's had her whole life ahead of her. It's I don't know. It's real when you see that kind of stuff. Isn't it? It's just tragic. I don't know how else to put it. Another acquaintance of David, a Fortnite player by the name of Barry Rigg on Instagram, also came forward with his own confirmation about David's behavior. Quote, "He has known this girl since she was either 11 or 12, end quote. Another teammate of his Fortnite team further explained how they had met. Quote, "We were all in a Fortnite team called Chronic, which is where I met him. He met her in like 2021, which is even earlier than previously expected, through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure. And then he made her get Discord. And remember, Remember the first message that he posted about Celeste in the Discord was something to the degree of, whoa, Celeste got Discord? ? And then she replied saying, David, bark, or something like that. So this is around that same time period, but 2021 is even earlier than previously expected. Everyone in the team, this is still the quote, everyone in the team knew about her and he would joke about it and brush it off every time it got mentioned. That's all I personally know, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. She would literally say he raped her, but then follow it up with a joke, so I don't know if she was being for real or not. He was just a weirdo, to be honest. He used to send gore in group chats, end quote. Again, if my friend, right, if I was playing a good old round of Call of Duty with a friend and we were in a voice chat and he's like, yo, let me invite a friend of mine. And then a 12-year-old girl hops in and is like, haha, he raped me, haha. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why am I still in? That's first of all, being in a voice call and he invites a 12-year-old girl to play a game with them. Like, what the fuck? That's pretty red flaggy already. That is red flaggy already, obviously. But then talking about sex in any connotation, let alone rape, like obviously David is to blame here, 100%. But I just don't see how all these other people surrounding this were there, saw this happen, and didn't immediately tell someone about this, like authorities about this. This is immediately red flag shit.
And it's so young too.
It's so weird. If you were like, Jackson, come hang out with me, and I come over and you're hanging out with a 12-year-old, like what?
Yeah.
What is this world that we're living in right now where this is apparently acceptable?
I don't know.
Not seen as deviant behavior. Like, surely everyone thinks that is just extremely deviant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Upon discovery of Celeste's Discord account, it's shown that her account was indeed created on January 4th, 2021, around the time that David allegedly had told her to create an account. And for those keeping track, this would have put her age at 10 years old. Yes, we are even lower now in the age of Celeste at the time of first interacting with David. She would have been 10 years old at the time that she began interacting with David, as she would not turn 11 until her birthday in September of that year, which means that it's not even a close 11 years old. She's even closer to 9 years old at the time of them interacting for the first time. David would have been almost 16 at the time, it seems, which, like, that is old enough to know that you should not be interacting with barely 10-year-olds. I don't know. It's so gross, man. I don't know what to say.
It is really Chad, isn't it? What a sick individual.
When I was 16, why the fuck would I want to hang out with 10-year-olds?
It was lame to hang out with 10-year-olds.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It was like,
lame.
you know, like even if your brother was like, "Can I hang out with you guys?" You'd be like, "Fuck off, Nathan." Like, no.
It's always Nathan with you. Every time you go to like a child reference, I've noticed you always use the name Nathan.
Well, I just always imagined that Nathan would be quite a pudgy, little annoying little piece of shit. Yeah.
Shout out to all the Nathans out there.
Shout out to all the Nathans. Are you a pudgy, annoying piece of shit? Let us know in the comments.
Anyway, it seems incredibly likely that the allegations made by David's former associates are true, as David does have a video referencing the team on his gaming channel, which means that, you know, there's a level of confirmation on David's part, at least, that he was connected to these people. Like, it's they were definitely connected, which gives them legitimacy. Chapter 6, where we are now. At present, the case remains an active and developing investigation. Law enforcement has confirmed that David has been cooperative in interviews and has complied with searches and questioning, but he has not yet been formally named as a suspect or person of interest in the case. However, given the extensive Discord messages and connections with Celeste, it seems like an inevitability. I'm going to say that again. It seems like an inevitability. Ultimately, however, what is certain is that the life of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was taken long before she had the chance to experience any of the beautiful things that this world is capable of providing. Her death at the hands of someone monstrously evil is a travesty, and we can only hope that the perpetrator, whoever it is brought to justice swiftly, so that her family and her memory can find some semblance of peace. In memory of Celeste, the ad revenue generated by this video will be donated to a charity called New Incentives, which is a charity that aims to increase the uptake of routine childhood vaccinations in Nigeria. GiveWell.org estimates that it costs roughly $146 to fully vaccinate an infant through New Incentives, meaning that the estimated average cost effectiveness of the charity is that for every $4,500, a life is saved. You can check out the efficacy of the charity linked in the description below. I know that a lot of charities do not have great efficacy, so I did my best to find one with an extremely high efficacy, but you can also do your own research into that. And if you choose to, I recommend donating if you have the means to do so, as I think it's a good outcome from such a bleak situation.
I didn't sign on to this vaccine hysteria. It's very nice. It really is.
No, it's a nice charity. It does do a lot of good by the sounds of it from the reports that I've read. So highly recommend you go check that out. But yeah, very, very tragic situation overall, this case. It can't be overstated how much I hate David viscerally.
I really do hate David.
Yeah, it's a visceral hate. It is there's something about it that this one I somehow got personal, even though I don't know any of the people involved in this, obviously. It feels just viciously evil. I don't know how else.
So evil. And also, just the fact that he signed with Fortnite so recently.
Yeah.
That's got to be a tarnish on their name, surely.
Yeah.
Not that it'd matter because it's still Fortnite, but far out.
Well, they surely... Again, this stuff had been going on since 2023. There were messages out there. There was information out there about this. I don't fault anyone for not necessarily knowing, but in Fortnite's situation and other people directly contributing to his success, surely they would have done their due diligence and done a little bit of investigating into his social media and stuff like that before signing him and things like that. Again, I don't want to focus on that too much, harp on about that too much because it's a tricky situation. I think the focus should be on David. Again, allegations. These are allegations. I don't necessarily like weighing in on developing situations, but there seems to be a arseload of evidence that at least paint David, if he's not involved in the murder, as someone heavily linked to the murder, given that the body of the victim was found in his car and the car was found 100 feet away from his primary place of residence. And she was connected to him. She had tattoos on her body. A child had his name tattooed on her body. I don't know. If he's not involved, I'd be very surprised. But again, these are allegations. Got to cover our bases here at Red Thread. These are allegations. Any last minute thoughts from you guys?
He's got to go to jail at some point, surely. He has to.
Surely, right?
That's not really well, I suppose that is a thought. Everything that you think is a thought.
Kira, over to you. What do you think? Just generally speaking. Just as a wrap up. Very suspicious.
If you ask me.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel a bit suspicious about this David fella.
I mean, it's just crazy, like, how much is unraveling from people looking into his past. I'll be keeping track of it as more stuff comes out because obviously it's an active investigation.
Yeah.
But it's sad. It's really sad that she was, I guess, failed and
yeah. Everyone in her life failed her to some degree.
Is David still posting shit?
No, I think he's gone dark for the most part, right, Kira? Surely he would have been heavily advised to disconnect from social medias for a while.
I think so. I do remember seeing something.
There was something developing this morning that I wasn't able to get into the document in time because it literally broke a few hours before this recording time, but I did hear, and again, developing situation, so apologies. I did hear that he was actively deleting references to Celeste in things, whether that's him or his talent agency or whatever. Not known, but it does seem like that might be something that is happening. We might have to do an update video in the future about David if the police investigation goes a little bit further, as we all hope that it does. Regardless, I just want to end this by saying, regardless of what happens here with David, particularly, I hope that whoever is responsible for the murder of Celeste is executed.
So I don't think he's
really pushing it these days.
So I don't think he's posting, but I did see something. I just looked it up. So someone had posted a video. Basically, it was a video aimed at David, and it was hashtagged Justice for Celeste. And I can't remember what the video was, but obviously it was bad towards him. And he actually commented on the video, and he just said in lowercase, okay.
What is he doing? Sad e-boy responses to these now?
I don't know. He did delete it.
Ooh, I guess you guys don't like me anymore. Sad face.
It is gone. Like, he did delete it, but he's obviously still online and looking at all these.
Oh yeah, he's an internet, as we know from the Gore days, he's an internet addict.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be able to disconnect entirely. But I'm saying, like, his attorneys, his army of attorneys would be heavily advising him not to make any public statements about the matter, as it's an ongoing investigation, and anything that you say will be used against you, obviously. So they would be heavily recommending that not happen.
You know who his lawyers are?
Who?
So perfect. Harvey Weinstein's.
Did you actually just find that information?
Yeah. It just came out like a few hours ago.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah.
Well, you might actually.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
it's another point of guilt. I'm telling you now. There's no need for a trial if you're hiring Harvey Weinstein's lawyers.
It's not a good look if your immediate.
Why would you choose them as well? There's got to be a bunch of other high-profile criminal defense lawyers that aren't as publicly tainted as that.
Oh, didn't they lose that case?
I know.
Why? Anyway, that's going to do it for the main thrust of this episode. Again, developing situation. So we will maybe keep you updated when more concrete things turn out in the future. Hopefully the killer is brought to justice.
Yes.
But sign up over at official.men for a free 7-day trial to ad-free early access Red Thread episodes. If you like what we do at Red Thread, your support obviously means a lot to us. It keeps the show going. It lets us pay our team. And we do have a team. We have editors as well as thumbnail artists, for example, as well as people making documents and things like that. Kira needs to be paid, of course. It does make the show possible. You showing your support like that means a lot. So official.men, that's how you can help support the show. And you do get extras as well. You get early ad-free access to the shows, and you can also leave comments and questions on question threads, and then we'll talk about it on the show, like right now, like these. Third Street asks, if one of your all-time favorite artists ended up doing something similar, would you stop listening to them, or do you believe in separating the art from the artist? Now, I think it's not a binary thing for me. Like, it's absolutely not a binary thing where I do usually separate the art from the artist, which I think inherently is a pretty impossible thing to do since art is created by the artists. But it's a scale. Like, if someone says something stupid online, for example, I find that a lot easier to separate that from what I'm enjoying. For example, the early Kanye West music I still like. So, and I don't like Kanye West now, but I'm able to separate that more so. But something like this, I don't know how you separate. Yeah, like, it's so intrinsically tied to the style or the type of music he was creating in the first place. Like, how do you listen to those lyrics now and not immediately think of what he's accused of now? How do you separate that? I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can. What about you guys?
Yeah, I couldn't.
You can't do it?
No, I couldn't. Like, if it was something small and stupid online, like Jack said, yeah, but this, no.
This is so next level, though, because it's everything at once.
Yep.
All the worst possible things that you could do.
Yep.
It's not even the fact that his music is about that. I think if I was a fan of David's, I couldn't not think about that every time that I'm listening to his music. Having said that, though, Michael Jackson slaps so hard that I'm just like, I don't know, man. Thriller's a good song. So I think it just really look. Honestly, I think the standard method that I will be using from now on is that publicly, yes, I do not separate them. Privately, that's my time.
I want to weigh in on that. Actually, I want a friendly debate. Michael Jackson wasn't singing about banging kids. Like, it's not intrinsically tied to the art. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, if it's tied to the art, it's pretty. I don't know how you can't.
Yeah,
but
like this,
I think that there also gets to a point where the artist is so sinister that even if they made the song "Sunshine Lollipops" or something, it just makes it sinister.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I remember. Lost Prophets, I think, right? Lost Prophets is a band where the lead singer was found guilty of basically, and this is, I don't know if I want to say this actually, but he was sexually assaulting very young children of groupies. Like, groupies would hand over their infant children for him to do evil things to. And he, like, I don't know how you listen to his music from then on, right? There's no way.
But what was his music about? It sounds pretty heavy to begin with.
It would be heavy. It was like metal, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like,
very metal.
I feel like it's impossible to fully separate art from the artist. When you listen to it, there's still some part of you that thinks of the person creating it. Like Michael Jackson, you still think of Michael Jackson when you listen to the song. It's an impossibility to fully separate.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a binary thing. It's you've got to, I guess you got to find the scale that's comfortable with you. At the end of the day, I don't think the argument that you shouldn't do that because you're benefiting them or whatever really works, because the money, like, they've already got all the money. It doesn't matter if you choose to stop listening to them. It's more of a moral stance, really, more than anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, Logan Dixon asks, why do you think he's not in prison yet? And also, why do you think no one told the police earlier about him and Celeste? Well, I think he's not in prison yet because the investigation has only been going on for like a month or two. So really, these investigations are relatively slow for good reason, because they need concrete, airtight evidence to convict. I would be more concerned if they tried to sped through this than anything, and then David gets off on a cheap, light sentence, or David gets a technicality or something like that. I'd rather them find the concrete evidence, that the smoking gun, that makes the conviction as airtight as possible. I don't think that you can really say that they're, why is he not in prison yet? All the evidence is so obvious. It is obvious, yes, but I still think that that justice should take time, right?
Yeah, courts unfortunately don't work like that, even though I feel like a lot of the time they should. God, I wish that you could switch in and out of due process to medieval hag mode.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the bureaucracy of the courts is a whole different matter. I'm just talking about the investigation itself. Yeah, like there's been no charges laid yet. I don't think that's a bureaucracy.
God, if I was David, I'd be going to that island right now.
Oh yeah.
Why would you still be in the United States when you've got nothing on you? Huh?
Enormous flight risk.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's probably fairly confident that they are like keeping an eye on him, and if he does go anywhere near an airport, that's probably when they'll make their move.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. Like, I don't see how they let him leave the country. There's so much public attention on this case right now that it would be pretty irresponsible to do that.
Yes.
Angel MN asks, do you think that there is any way to lose this case, considering all of the evidence? Could this be the next O.J. Simpson case, or the defense clutches victory from the jaws of defeat? What do you think, Jordan?
Well, man, O.J. Simpson was, I think, mostly it boiled down to the fact that DNA evidence was, first off, not as good as it is now, but also it was sort of new technology to the public, and they didn't really understand what it meant. And the defense team was able to obscure that a lot better than you can now. So I just think that the way that OJ got off, you wouldn't be able to do again.
I also, I agree. I don't think that you would get away with an OJ Simpson in the current climate of America either. I think that the OJ Simpson acquittal was kind of indicative of where America was at the time. And it's also just a much harder defense, slaughtering and killing a 14-year-old girl. That's something visceral, right? That's something just abhorrent. Of course, OJ's alleged murder was also abhorrent, but I don't know if it's too optimistic of me, but I think I have more faith in the system to
prosecute
do justice here.
Totally.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's not to say that there aren't a lot of powerful pedophiles, obviously, but it's so public right now that I have more faith in the general public, let's say, to hopefully hold.
Yeah, if it goes to a jury, there's no chance.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully hold those accountable, those guilty more accountable. Anyway, Adrian Romero asks, what do you think of the possibility she overdosed and that they decided to hide her body instead of it being an actual murder?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Does it really matter?
Well, that matters greatly, right? Because
why?
Well, other than it being murder one, it's manslaughter.
Well, no, I mean, the difference in charges, yes, but morally doesn't, like, David was still with a minor and directly attributed or contributed to her death. I mean, of course, yeah, it does matter. He didn't, like, in this hypothetical, he didn't maliciously murder her, but he's still ultimately responsible for the victimization of a child.
Yeah, still, she would have been, people would have been providing drugs and stuff to a child.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're still going away for a long time on that. In fact, I'm starting to think now, even if that was the best case scenario, so it's manslaughter, but you're soliciting drugs to a minor, and also it's statutory rape.
Yeah.
Man, are you ever seeing the light of day again? I don't
it's
think
more
so.
than statutory. It's more like he was grooming her since, as we just learned, like 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that you can get out. I think at that point, malicious murder is sort of superfluous. I don't think you're getting out of jail in a natural human time frame.
Yeah, I think that that's my point. I think like it's still a malicious murder, no matter which way you slice it, really, at least morally, because like this shouldn't be something that's happening regardless. But I don't believe that she overdosed. I just don't see evidence of that. She was malnourished, for example. So they weren't feeding her, but she was doing drugs and stuff like that. Don't know. I don't agree with that. Also, she was dismembered. Why would you dismember the victim after she's OD'd?
I know. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, speculation. Who knows? My Cool New Shoes says, do you think internet sleuths are helping this investigation or hindering it? I feel like this case is so publicly talked about on social media, it might be affecting the investigation a bit. What do you think?
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm usually on the side of I'm usually on the side of agreeing with that statement. Like it's usually detrimental to the overall investigation when these online communities feel like they can positively impact it. Like the classic example, the Reddit, what was it? The Boston Marathon bomber, where they misidentified someone in the video, which directly led to the death of that person who wasn't even involved in it. So many such cases, and it can't help necessarily with all these different various leads coming in from internet detectives to investigators who then have to do their due diligence and investigate those leads. But overall, at the moment, the investigation really boils down to screen caps of Discord servers, like David in Discord servers, and I feel like it's positively contributed to at least the public awareness of just how much evidence there was to suggest that David may have been complicit in something here. So I think at the moment it is beneficial. But it's really now at the point where, you know, investigators are in there, they're doing their job, hopefully. They should be doing their job at the moment. And this is the point where I would say, like, okay, now we settle down a bit and let the professional investigators do their jobs.
Yes.
And we just wait. That's
totally.
That's my take. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that it will, but yeah.
No, of course
that
not.
should happen.
Skinny Cartman says, whose parents/support systems failed them more, David or Celeste?
Celeste, easily.
Yeah, I mean, David
give birth to a psychopath and there's nothing that you can do about it, but you can definitely not let your daughter hang out with pedos.
Undeniably so, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? It sounds like David's parents were at least trying their best. They may have been misguided through the homeschooling and stuff, but like they gave him a sheltered, not impoverished life. Like he had the foundation that he needed to be a successful human being. So I don't really know why that's even up for debate. David's parents, I don't think, failed him at all from what I've read. Celeste, on the other hand, I do not understand at all how a young 13, 14-year-old can go missing multiple times within the span of 3 months and something not fundamentally change, and how you could possibly even just like glance at the idea of your 13-year-old daughter dating a adult. Like, this is absolutely a mass failing of Celeste's parent/support system.
Terrible.
And then the final question, No just asks, who the fuck is David? Well,
the question we were all asking.
I hope this.
I don't know why you're asking at the end of this, but
this 2-hour episode, I hope that's answered your question. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know either. Apparently, David is someone who gets about 2 billion hits each song, and apparently I don't know who the fuck he is, and neither does No Just. So
far out.
It's crazy. I don't know,
isn't it?
But I hope that's answered the question.
So disparating, huh?
I said I hope this episode has answered the question though about who the fuck David is.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all very much for joining us. A quick reminder that you can head on down to the description. I've read too much today. The description to support Friendly Geordies. Jordan does fantastic content online. He's got his main channel, Friendly Geordies, where he just dropped an update about who may or may not have... well, no, it's confirmed now. He was found guilty. Who did firebomb Friendly Geordie's house? So you can go check that out, as well as a bunch of other content. He does great stuff, as well as his self-help channel. It'll be linked below. And of course, his live shows. He's talking about aliens in probably a city near you if you're living in Australia. So please do go check him out. He loves it when Red Thread fans come up and greet him at the shows. So please do that. Let him know that Jackson sends his regards. It won't be at all off-putting for him at all. Also, we have Soul Syrup, Kira and myself's tea company. We don't have it on our desk right now.
Yeah.
You want to grab it, Kira, so I can show the audience real quick? Yep. So
I'll give it this recommendation. I frequently ask to mooch it off them. It's so good that I don't want to pay for it.
Glowing endorsement. So that's Soul Syrup, soulsyrup.com.au if you want to support this little brand of tea. We got a bunch of different blends. Very nice. People like them. You might like them as well.
My editor really likes it too. I have not heard anything bad about it. My GF, everyone's a fan. Everyone.
Oh, awesome. That's great. We'll send you more so that you keep glowingly endorsing us.
So much better than having to put out my credit card.
Soulsyrup.com.au if you like that. And again, remember that the ad revenue for this episode will be donated to that charity, New Incentives. You can check it out below and donate to that. That should take precedence above everything else, honestly. So go check that out. Big thank you very much for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed. Well, we hope you found something from this episode.
Yes.
We'll see you next time on Red Thread for something hopefully more lighthearted. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.